Here are the four most uncomfortable phases you will go through when you are quantum leaping to a new reality, but they are all totally worth it. I'm Alyssa, and I remind you that this timeline is optional. Quantum leaping is when you connect with a parallel version of yourself living on another timeline that is living out something that you desire to have in your life. You don't actually need to manifest anything. You just need to align your vibrational frequency with the reality where it already exists. There are unlimited parallel realities existing right now where you are doing very different things based on your identity, based on your beliefs about yourself and reality, and based mostly on your vibrational frequency. When you desire to quantum leap into a new reality and have a new experience as the spiritual being that you are, you will go through these four phases. When you know about the phases, it's easier for you to go through them to the next level so that you can make sure you make it to the end where you quantum leap into your new reality. If you do not stick with these phases and you energetically self sabotage yourself, you end up going back into the old reality and you never live out the thing that you truly desire, that your soul truly desires. So know that these phases are normal. Stick with them and you will get to the other side. The first phase you will go through when quantum leaping to a new reality is dissatisfaction with your current reality. This is actually step one in quantum leaping. On the flip side, it's also called desire. You are dissatisfied with some area of your life, which is why you want to quantum leap to the reality where that problem is already solved. You might be dissatisfied with your health, with your body, with your relationship, with your lack of relationship, with your wealth, with your lack of wealth, with your career choices. When you decide that something in your life is not the way you want it to be and you become dissatisfied with that area of your life, a parallel version of you is connecting with you through desire, saying, "This is possible for you. I'm already living it on another parallel timeline. Match your frequency to the same frequency that I am emitting, and we will merge, and their life will become yours." Dissatisfaction feels like you're just not happy with your life, you're not grateful. It's You desire something else for your life. It's a good sign. If you're dissatisfied with some area of your life, it's because you're meant to have more. It's contrast expanding you into the greater being that you are. And no, our desires are literally our destiny. Our desires were put in us from the universe. We are meant to have our desires. Our desires are leading us on our life path. They're telling us what the next steps are. They're telling us what energy we need to emit so we can live out that in our life. Once you've become dissatisfied with your current reality and you've decided what quantum reality you want to jump to, the next phase that is uncomfortable is called clearing and collapsing. This is where you become aware of what is in your current reality that is not a vibrational match to the reality you are jumping to. Now, this can be relationships, environments you hang out in, actual physical items, clothes that don't match the identity of the version of you living on another timeline, friendships that have outgrown themselves, relationships that are not a match. For me, when I quantum jumped into my dream soulmate timeline, home life timeline, the relationship I was in became dissatisfying because it was not the highest expression that my soul had grown into. At one time, that relationship had been really good, but I was dissatisfied with that relationship. And no matter how much spiritual work I did, it would not shift. I thought that if I shift myself, then he would shift and we would be a match. But no, I had vibrated out of that reality and I became dissatisfied with my relationship and then I had to clear and collapse. So I moved twice. I broke up with that person. I got rid of friendships that were not in alignment. I let go of friends that were not in alignment with the version of me that was on that timeline. Clearing and collapsing is about being clear on the identity of the version of you living on that timeline. What would they no longer tolerate in their life? What would they no longer keep in their reality? What doesn't even exist in their reality because it's not a vibrational match? Everything in your reality, from the clothes you're wearing, the friends you have, the relationship you have or don't have, the wealth you have or don't have, the dreams that are manifesting or not manifesting, you are a vibrational match to. Everything in our reality is a vibrational match. So before you were dissatisfied, those things maybe felt like they fit. Those clothes fit you, those friendships fit you, that relationship felt good. But when you've grown and evolved into an expanded spiritual being that has another desire, when you've become dissatisfied with something in your life, you have to get clear on what that version of you that has that thing you want, what their life is like, what they allow in their life, what they no longer allow, what they had to say no to, what they never said yes to. And you have to begin to clear and collapse those things from your life. The most important part of clearing and collapsing is actually belief systems and identity. You have to become clear on what that version of you believes about reality and themselves and what identity they have, what they think about themselves. And any beliefs that you have that are not in alignment with that, you have to begin to do limiting belief work to match your beliefs, to match the beliefs of the version of you that lives on the timeline. The version of you that's living on your dream timeline has different beliefs about reality and themselves, a different identity, and a different vibrational frequency. How do I know this? Because if you guys were matching up on all those three things, you would already be existing in that parallel reality. You would already have merged with them. When you actually do quantum leap into the new reality and you look back on your life a year, 2 years ago, you will see that you are not the same person, and you will realize that the version of you that quantum jumped is almost unrecognizable to you. And it's important to be grateful for that version of you because that version of you got you to this life. That version of you did what it needed to do to get you into a place where you were able to quantum leap, where you learned about spirituality, where you learned how to clear limiting beliefs, where you had a better identity and better self-worth and felt better about yourself. But when you really do quantum leap and you look back, you go, I can't even believe that that was the same me. So, in clearing and collapsing, that version of you that's living on that timeline might feel that way about you now. There are things in your life currently, belief systems you have, relationships you're entertaining, the way you let people treat you, the beliefs you have about money, the beliefs you have about health, the actions you take, that version of you does not take, does not tolerate, does not have in their reality. You need to begin to clear and collapse those. And that can be uncomfortable because the new timeline hasn't shown up yet. So you're letting go of people, place, things, environments, and belief systems almost without knowing that it's really going to work. But it's a very important part of quantum leaping. Uncomfortable phase number 3 is the recalibration phase. Now, this is the fun phase. This is when you are going through energetic highs and lows. You've let go of so many things in your reality that you've actually quantum jumped to the new reality, but reality hasn't reflected that back to you. Reality has a lag time. When you quantum jump, my favorite example, because this is what happened to me. You don't close your eyes in your shitty apartment going through a breakup, open your eyes the next day, and you're in your dream home with your soulmate. You will get there, but it doesn't happen overnight. When you've had a desire for something new, let go of things that are not in alignment, and you're starting to walk in the identity and have the frequency of the version of you that's living on that timeline. When you start to raise your vibration, and clearing and collapsing things that are not in alignment is one of the things that helps you raise your vibration. There's a period where you're recalibrating, where you're moving in and out of the two realities. And even though the new reality, it doesn't look like you're in the new reality, you are moving in and out of it energetically because your vibration is, when you quantum leap, your vibrational frequency has to reach a tipping point where it is more a match for that new reality than for that old reality. But when that's happening, you're bouncing in and out of realities, even though reality all looks the same, but it's not. And so that can be really exhausting and really exciting. You go through these energetic highs where you get excited about the new things in your life. You are the new identity. You have a higher frequency. You've let go of things that were holding you down. You are feeling more like that version of you that lives on that timeline. So you go through these energetic highs, but it's also extremely exhausting because you are not used to sustaining that level of energy. That's why people get tired when they're quantum leaping, because you're holding a higher frequency that you have never held before. So you're going up and down. It can feel like you're on drugs. It can feel like you're going crazy. You're also experiencing really cool things like deja vu, which is literally echoes from the parallel timeline version of you that you are merging with. It's their memories. When you have deja vu, you are literally having the memories of the other version of you that's already on that timeline. It's like the universe is saying you're on the right track, you've done this before, because that version of you did already do that before. You are experiencing signs and synchronicities, and you're getting like feedback that you are on the right path. You might be getting dreams. You might be hearing people talk about the thing that you're quantum leaping. Like, reality is starting to reflect back to you. You're on this new timeline. You've done the work. You're raising your frequency. You've let go of those old beliefs, and you're really, really close. But it can be really exhausting. And because reality hasn't shown it back to you, you kind of think you're going crazy because you're like, I'm doing all this spiritual work. I'm doing all this vibrational work, and yet everything looks the same. But just know that when you are in this phase and you're experiencing those energetic highs and lows, continue to hold the frequency of the reality that you want, because you're going in and out of it and you're almost there. Phase number 4 that's very uncomfortable is the void, and the void / the ego death. So you've done the spiritual work, you've cleared limiting beliefs, you're practicing the frequency. You've raised your frequency to be more a match for that reality than for your old reality. You're in the new reality, but again, reality has a lag time. It hasn't reflected that back to you. This is a period where you have to continue to embody the identity of the version of you living on that timeline. From the law of assumption perspective, Neville calls it persisting. Neville just calls it persisting. Persisting in the new identity, persisting in the new belief, persisting in the new feeling. You have to continue to hold that frequency as if you're already in that new reality. You have to believe that you're in that new reality. You have to persist in the assumption that what you want is here now and you're already living it. You have to like trick yourself into not really noticing reality and just believe more in that new reality than you do in your old one. And this is the number one thing I did to quantum leap was I started to believe more in the reality I couldn't see than the reality that I was living. Because the reality I was living, parts of it were really hard. It was more daydreaming and imagination and listening to music that made me feel like I was in that reality. And the more I just allowed myself to daydream and think about that reality more, and because I was having dreams about the reality I'm living now, I was believing more in the new reality than the old reality, and then reality flipped. So it's persisting in the assumption that you already live in that reality. It's continuing to hold the frequency. It's continuing to act like the version of you that lives on that timeline. It's continuing to not go back to things that are not a match. It's holding the frequency, but it is a void. And the other things that happen is life starts to feel weird because you can feel that your old self has died. It's kind of like an ego death. You can feel that you don't recognize things about yourself from days, weeks, definitely months ago, but it can happen really rapidly where it's like you had an ego death. It's like you actually let go of beliefs. If you've ever done limiting belief work like NLP or plant medicine, but specifically NLP because it happens really fast. There's an NLP technique called time techniques, and you go back in time, and if done correctly, you make a new belief or assumption about what happened, and it goes away where you can't find that belief anymore. Like you can't find that emotional charge anymore. This also happens in plant medicine. When you heal something energetically on a quantum level, you can't find it anymore. You still have the memory, but the charge is completely gone. This happens when you're quantum leaping. Triggers, things that used to trigger you, like completely don't anymore because you're a new you. You have new beliefs about yourself. The things you're doing are different. You don't do the things the way you used to anymore, or you're not doing them from the same energy. You're not creating to prove. You're not people pleasing in order to get love. You are a new you, and you feel this weird thing because you might try to do the things you used to do or hang out in places you used to hang out in because you're in this void and you're like, what's going on? And you can't find the old you because you have begun to merge with the new you. And this is the final uncomfortable phase before you go into the new reality. The void is a space where you're stabilizing the frequency. Your frequency is stabilizing to be a complete match for that new reality. And when that match of vibration reaches a tipping point, you flip into the new reality and life actually outpictures the change. It actually outpictures the soulmate, the dream home, you get the job, whatever happens in a linear fashion that version of you already went through is going to outpicture once you've stabilized the frequency in the void. Remember, if you're going through dissatisfaction in your life, it's a call from a parallel version of you saying, hey, it's time to quantum leap. Next, you need to clear and collapse belief systems, relationships, environments, things that do not feel good, that are not a match for that new reality. What would that version of you on that parallel timeline not have in their life? What isn't even in their reality because it's not a vibrational match? Clear and collapse those. 3, go through energetic recalibration, appreciate the signs, be happy when you're excited that you feel like you're the new you, and rest because it can be extremely exhausting, and continue to hold the frequency. And 4, void and ego death. Know that you're not going crazy. Persist in the assumption that you're already on that timeline. Continue to hold the frequency. Stay in your new vibration. And once you've done that long enough, the thing you want is going to show up because you are in the new reality. You have matched the frequency to the reality that you desired. You have matched the frequency to that version of you that was calling you. If you have a desire for something different in your life, it is literally a ping, an echo, a call from a timeline, a parallel timeline version of you that is saying, I have this in my life. You can merge with me. And when you're merging, it feels a little weird at first. And then suddenly you're that new you. And after you've done that and you've gotten the amazing thing in your life. You have the thing that you wanted. You got to that timeline. You've held the frequency. You are the new version of you. You're going to look back and you're not going to even recognize that version of you. And you're going to realize that you have merged with a parallel timeline version of you and enjoy it for a while. And then maybe it will be time to quantum leap again. Know that if you desire something, it's a parallel timeline version of you saying, hey, I have this. It's possible for you too. Hold the frequency of the reality that you want. You deserve it. Remember, this timeline is optional. Much love.